Umar Nurmagomedov just picked up the biggest victory of his young career last Wednesday at UFC Fight Island 8, as he defeated Sergey morozov via technical submission rear naked choke at 3:39 of round 2. This was an incredibly impressive performance over the multiple-time M1 Challenge flyweight champion. Nurmagomedov himself is a former buff and GFC flyweight champion, and he improved his professional record to 13-0 with this victory, marking his 6th victory via submission. As we saw, Nurmagomedov has wicked wrestling and grappling, of course, but we also saw he has some pretty skillful and dangerous striking. His kicks of all sorts are polished very well, and he's very effective in using them. He's a very well-rounded talent, as we've come to expect. Nurmagomedov is still just 24 years old as well, turning 25 in March. That gives us a lot of time to really see what he could become, and by our guess, he'll be the UFC flyweight champion before his career is all said and done. Maybe even sooner rather than later. This young man stands 5'8" and has a reach of 6'9" as well, a pretty favorable frame for the 125 pounds division. He's going to be a big problem for potentially everyone he faces in the future. That brings us to the question, who could Umar Nurmagomedov face next? Well, he just handily finished the multiple-time world champion, but that performance didn't give him a number next to his name, surprisingly. Swedish talent, and no. 13-ranked Amir Albazi just picked up his 2nd octagon victory, this one over 4-time FNG flyweight champion Zhalgas Zhumagulov. He'd make for a great fight with Nurmagomedov. Albazi is 14-1 himself, he's 27 years old, and his only defeat comes to Jose Torres, a very elite flyweight in his own right. Umar Nurmagomedov check talent, and no. 12-ranked David Dvorak would also make for a good next opponent for Nurmagomedov. Dvorak is 28 years old, he holds a record of 19-3, including a 2-0 stint thus far in the UFC, and he's finished 15 of those 19 victories. Lastly, is a matchup with no. 15-ranked Hawaiian talent Tyson Nam, who's coming off a split decision defeat to no. 8-ranked Matt Schnell. Before that, Nam had finished his last 2 opponents via knockout, and he himself has held a couple titles in his day. He has a record of 20-12-1, and he's 37 years old, but don't let that fool you. Nam is one of the most experienced flyweights in the world, he's fought everyone, and beat some of them. For instance, when former UFC flyweight title challenger Ali Bagautnov left the UFC, his first fight outside the organization was against Nam, who caught him with a head kick. There aren't too many flyweight talents signed to the UFC that don't have fights booked, which is incredibly exciting. To think, the UFC nearly got rid of this division, they cut half of the 125 pounds roster, and now we have more elite names in it than ever before. This is a very exciting time to be a fight fan.